Hey Cupid's crew, welcome back to another episode.
I realized this week that I think I need to get lip filler. I know
Wow,
that has nothing to do with our podcast.
you really surprised me with that. I have no comment right now. I'm just trying to think of what to say.
Because I was smiling for like a photo this weekend with my best friend when I met her baby for the first time. And I realized that this baby has a bigger top lip than I do. And I was like, I need lip filler.
So you were jealous of a baby's lips?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Missy. Wait, I actually had lip surgery done. Yeah,
Oh.
I actually when you know how we there's always the icebreaker when you're at a work meeting or whatever, and some people play two truths and a lie. I always have one of my truths as the fact that I got cosmetic surgery done on my lips because I did. Well, I don't know if it was cosmetic surgery, but I think it's classified as cosmetic. But basically, I was 4 years old. My brother was swinging his baseball bat, and I, lunatic, ran into his baseball bat. So I technically have thicker lips than I was born with because I got lip surgery when I was 4.
Well, I want your thick lips, just saying. But this is actually a perfect segue because our movie this week talks about siblings. And I have to tell you, this, I did not expect to love this movie as much as I did. I am going to die on this hill and say that this movie was the best rom-com I've seen since How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Which is, just so you know, it's Missy's favorite rom-com. How to Lose the Guy in 10 Days is Missy's favorite rom-com. Benny, who is Missy's dog, it was named after loves the movie. And then she texted me. You should have left me voicemails, to be honest. But she texted me as she was watching the movie during almost every scene that she had something to say, and I loved it. I was reading her text because I had already seen the movie, and I was just living again vicariously through Missy watching it for the first time, and it is such a
Also, Paula was asleep, so she woke up to like 20 million messages from me. Half of them were audio messages. So,
I know
without further ado,
in the middle of the night, Missy, to go to the bathroom, and I just see literally Missy texting me, "This is so good! Oh my gosh, I loved it. I want to wake up to that every day, Missy."
stop. Are you my like Nick Robinson?
Oh, did we just give the movie away?
I think so. So, without further ado, this week's movie is.
Voicemails for Isabelle, which
Which was
got
so good.
such good reviews, Missy.
Such good reviews. It came out on Netflix on June 19th, exclusively on Netflix. And the movie follows Jill, which is played by Zoe Deutsch, who leaves voice messages for her deceased sister telling her about her chaotic, fun life in San Francisco. But then, in a turn of events, a mysterious Austin real estate agent gets all these voicemails and starts to, fall for her through all these voicemails. And it was really cute. The actors are Nick Robinson, Zoe Deutsch, Leah McKendrick, who I didn't realize this until after I looked it up, not only acted in the movie, wrote the script, and directed the movie. Did you know that?
I knew that she was in the movie.
Yeah. She was in the movie, she wrote the script, and she directed it.
And yeah, I knew she directed it. I didn't know she wrote the script though. That's amazing.
Triple threat. We also have Sierra Bravo, Lucas Gage, and Toby Sandeman, which a little spill the popcorn to start off with. All of these actors have worked on Netflix productions previously. So I feel like this movie was just like a giant Netflix reunion.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
And talking about reunions, I have a spill the popcorn for you. Zoe mentioned in an interview that she and Nick Robinson went to high school together, and she had a crush on him in high school, and he knew that she had a crush on him.
I mean, I would have a crush on him in high school. Why didn't they end game? I have to tell you, the minute this movie started playing and Dancing on My Own by Robyn came on, I knew this was going to be a banger soundtrack, and I had such a good feeling that it was going to be a good movie. I mean, within the first 7 minutes of that montage of the sisters,
Yeah.
I mean, Leah McKendrick just gets you knife in the heart.
The first 7 or so minutes, Missy, I really wanted a sister. I wanted that kind of sister. So many
I'll be
emotions
your
went
sister.
through. I know, but you were the sister I'd found later on in life. But imagine if we had known each other since, literally
Yeah.
birth, to the point where in her eulogy she talked about how of all the people that she could have been sisters with, she was sisters with as that made me cry.
When she said that, I felt that about my brother. My brother and I are very, very close. Like, we are probably just as close as they are in the movie. Like, we call each other when we're watching a rom-com, and we play this guessing game where he's, okay, Missy, guess the rom-com. Or we'll send each other like emojis back and forth, like saying, guess the rom-com. And we just are super close. So I really felt her connection with her sister because I feel that with my brother.
I mean, I don't even have a sister. I have you, and I have a lot of other sisters, not by birth. But that scene where she runs back to her sister and her family for New Year's, that that literally caused me to have little bumps, goosebumps.
Yeah. I know we talk a lot about the meet cute moment and the couples in this movie, but I really think this movie didn't only focus obviously on, the couple part of it, but the love of sisterhood and family.
Yeah.
I think that was the other big deal. And the meet cute moment of when we meet these two sisters.
Yes. I think you and I have talked a lot in our shows about how modern rom-coms haven't been able to live up to the hype to the rom-coms that we've loved from maybe the 2000s. But I think one of the things that I've said in the past is that a reason why I think that modern rom-coms haven't been able to do so well is because they don't go deep into storylines and add to that build-up for the entire movie as a whole. But I think that this movie did that so well in terms of the build-up to not just, like you said, the main characters, but the build-up of the sisters and their relationship and just how these people have come to really become people in real life. And even Nick Robinson's character, the whole story with his mom, all of that adds up to the build-up scenes, right? You texted me.
Yes.
You knew about the cornbread scene. But all of that is the build-up moments that I think the OG rom-coms did so well that I don't know if modern rom-coms do enough of.
Yeah, there were a lot of built-in layers here that made reappearances throughout the movie, which is why I think it came across in such a beautiful package. Whereas, like you said, in modern rom-coms or maybe more recent rom-coms, we haven't seen these little breadcrumbs that come back, later on in the movie.
Yeah, I agree.
So back to the meet cute moment. Do we think the meet cute moment is when she leaves her first voicemail, or is it when they actually meet in person on the bench?
Oh, that's a good question because the first Me Too moment for him is the voicemail, but it's a one-sided meet cute, which I think still counts because even if it's a one-sided meet cute, you're still manifesting.
Yeah, and he easily could have just, I know this is a movie, but he could have easily just not listened to it and just deleted it. But he did listen to it and then became invested and really enjoyed her voice.
Yes, wait, can I just, Missy, I need to tell you all the ChatGPT questions that I asked about how real this was, okay? Because I asked how realistic is the plot of voicemails for Isabelle, and ChatGPT said, in terms of the technology and the cell number reassignment, it's not as realistic because there's a major logic loophole. Once a line is disconnected on a contract, numbers usually enter a cooling off period of 30 to 90 days before being put back into rotation. So because Isabelle's death was sudden, her family likely shut down her line, making its reassignment to Wes entirely realistic. But the loophole is that, as viewers on Reddit and critics have pointed out, the mechanics of the voicemails require some serious suspension of disbelief because Wes receives the number as his work line. And in the real world, Wes would have set up a personalized voicemail greeting or something about how, hey, this is the wrong number, and not just continue to listen to the voice.
When she would have called, she would have been like, hey, the like voice message would have been like, "You've reached Wes, the real estate agent of Austin. Sorry, can't come to the phone right now. Leave a message." And then she would have realized, "Oh crap, this number is no longer my sister's number." But that's not the case.
That, or if I were Jill's character, I wouldn't have called that number knowing that it was likely recycled.
So this plot has definitely been reused a lot in film. The one that came to me right away was actually a TV show in One Tree Hill. I don't know if have you seen One Tree Hill?
I've seen maybe the first 2 seasons.
Oh, then you wouldn't know. Later on in, I think it's season 8, Haley's mom dies. Spoiler alert. But she's having a really hard time mourning her death, and she keeps calling her and leaving voicemails for her as if she's still there so she could talk to her. And Nathan finds the phone bill and starts looking at the phone bill and looking at the history and sees Haley keeps calling this one number and it happens to be her mom's number. And then he finds the phone and realizes she's been leaving her voicemails. So this is definitely, I feel like, a common thing that maybe helps people grieve. I just don't know if it was super realistic for a romantic relationship to come out of.
Yes. I also think that it was a plot in 2023's movie called Love Again with Priyanka Chopra.
I think it's Priyanka Jonas now.
Well, yes, but... and it also had Celine Dion in the movie, and it didn't do as well in terms of Rotten Tomatoes reviews.
Wait, that's so funny you said that, because when I told my brother to watch this movie, because I texted him and his wife, they're on their honeymoon in Japan right now, I was like, you guys need to watch this movie. It's the best one I've seen since How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. And so they watched it, and then the first thing my brother said to me was, this has been done already. I was like, excuse me? And I got super offended and was like ready to like fight him on this. And he said that exact movie. And I was like, but Voicemails for Isabelle is just, I haven't seen that one, so I'm not going to, crap on it or, say it's not good, but I really liked this one. And my brother liked it as well, but he was right. It has been a repeated plot several times. So I definitely think that's something to make worth mention. Did you hear what I said before? I know you had to walk away.
Oh, no, I heard everything. My dog just wanted to be let out because he just heard 2 girlies talking and said, I'm out. But I think your brother is so spot on, but it makes me think back to, again, the OG rom-coms. We haven't ever had, but maybe technology wasn't around that time to have that kind of plot line. But I definitely think it's a modern plot line.
Yeah. So I will say, when I was watching this movie, it was really funny to me. This is a really bad transition. When my grandma passed away, we obviously got rid of her phone and disconnected her line, like you mentioned before, your whole, line disconnecting education. However, I think it was maybe 6 months later, I get a notification on my phone from Snapchat saying Audrey Cohen wants to add you as a friend. And I sent it to our whole family group chat, and I was like, guys, first of all, Grandma does not know how to work Snapchat. What's going on? I was really freaked out by it. And my cousin told me that it's probably someone else who got her new number and set up a Snapchat with her number. But because I still had her number saved as the Audrey Cohen, like my grandma, it came up like that. And it was so weird.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's a good, I want to say, just like in the movie, a remembrance kind of thing. And I'm sure that the emotions all come flooding back. But I think that for me, I really value calling and voicemails. So I think this movie definitely still had, which I don't think is the case for the 2026 generation. Mm-hmm. So I think that this movie also touched a little bit to our generation of growing up in the 1990s, Missy, where people really value calls and listen to voicemails. I don't even know if people listen to voicemails today, to be honest, even if spam leaves something.
I always leave voicemails, and I love voice messages, as you know. I am a huge proponent for voice and talking and FaceTime, because when you text, you don't understand someone's tone. You don't know if they're coming off a certain way, and it gets misconstrued. And so I hope that this movie inspired the younger generation to not be scared to pick up the phone and actually use their voice.
I will say, Missy sends me audio notes instead of text messages, but you're literally the only friend who really does that. Everybody else that sends me voicemails are older, much older in their minimum 50, which I love listening to. I love listening to a mentor calling me and leaving me a voicemail in their, old wise mentor voice saying, "Hey Paula, you missed my call, so call me back." It's very, I want to say that generation and nostalgic in that kind of sense, but
Yeah.
I have another spill the
What?
coffee for you.
Let's keep spilling it, girlfriend.
Okay, this one's, I don't think you're gonna even think that I was gonna say this, but I found out that Madeline Klein is dating the antagonist in the movie,
I did know this.
which I didn't know, but it popped up in my Instagram.
I did know this because I was researching the cast because I was like, he looks familiar. Why does he look so familiar? And then I saw the photo of them together at the premiere, and he just was, ugh,
Yeah,
so big
no.
in the movie.
Okay, I have a question for you. As much as we love the movie, sometimes in our podcasts we ask if you would have done something, if you would have seen something differently, what would it be and why? I wonder if this movie, what it would have done in terms of my feelings, if it played down the over comedic scenes. You know what I mean? Because can you imagine if that chef and his character and all of his lines were in a movie such as You've Got Mail or
I actually completely agree with you. As much as I was dying and loved the jokes, it was overkill. He was a little too, like, over the top.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that was just me, but I was just trying to. Every other part of the movie is just I don't know how you. It's realistic. All the scenes.
Yeah.
But that scene, I don't even know if Chef Gordon Ramsay, who's known as being superly toxic in the kitchen, I don't know if he would even say something like that. Like, I don't know if people say that kind of stuff. You would totally get rejected by HR.
I mean, I think there's a fine line between Gordon Ramsay and this douchebag of a chef that we had in our kitchen here in this movie. I think they were maybe trying to, or maybe Leah was trying to show how toxic masculinity is in a male-dominated industry and why at the end we see her end up leaving, even though clearly the guy, she should have won the competition. Her friend should have won the little bake-off competition.
Yeah.
But they didn't, and he ended up choosing the man for something that was completely raw. So I think maybe that was part of the whole buildup of his character and helping her find her confidence to finally go out on her own. But either way, some of his jokes were hilarious, but some of them were just, like I said, a little over the top. I loved the radioactive Chucky doll pube. That was hilarious.
Yes, but even it was just he was the only character who really went to, he and the antagonist.
I also feel like they played that out way too much.
Yes, exactly. I don't know. I just think that if those characters were a little bit, but then it would maybe have been a little bit more believable and you would have hated them a little bit more, because I could just tell that they were overly, okay, his name doesn't come up in terms of what his character's name was. But
oh my god,
now that I'm looking at the cast on Google, he's right next to Toby Sandman, who's the real life character, or is the real name for the guy who plays the podcast host.
Which I feel we have to talk about considering we have a podcast, but the real scene stealer for me here, and you know how much I love soundtrack. When they were showing him eating and playing Usher's Hey Daddy at the same time, I kid you not, I decombusted on the couch. I literally my dog licked the drool off my face. This was perfect in every possible way.
I so agree. This song was made for this man to eat to.
First of all, is he a daddy in real life? If not, he's now the world's daddy, because that was so perfect. So I'm so happy we agreed on that.
It was perfect in every way. Who put that song with that scene? Because I also found out that when you're an actor recording the movies, you don't get any soundtrack. It's just dead silent.
I found that out when I was looking up because I wanted to learn the dance. And I found out that during all the dance scenes, they don't have music. They just go to counts.
Right.
So they're just dancing.
Audio.
Yeah. Which makes me feel really like insecure because like this little 8-year-old girl is like twisting her hips and like killing it, and I can't even like do a TikTok dance.
Yeah, I mean, literally perfect to the music beat, which is so impressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, that song was made for this guy, and I hope that Usher, yeah, and stick around and do the whole, you know, whole rendition live for us.
Yeah. So another favorite scene of mine was when Tyler, the douchecaster, as we call him in the movie, finally gets exposed at his live podcast event where Jill is like, well, I'd love to talk to you about not getting a call back. And then she just walks out and drops the mic, and he's just left like, yeah, I'm a phony.
That was so mean of him, and he deserved that.
Mm-hmm. Especially how they made him seem so good. You know what I mean? And the way that he entered the meet cute moment for them, how he was like getting stood up on a date and he was being super sweet, and then and like wanted to take her back to England to meet the parents. Like they just kept adding the layers and layers of him being like such a great guy, and then
yep.
flop.
I thought he was going to have a bigger presence in the movie, but he didn't. It was just maybe one or two scenes.
I would have loved to see him come back at the end in the park doing the doing the dance. I think that would have been funny.
Aw, yeah. Or, yes. That would have been, if he could have come back in the end and seen how happy she was, I think that would have been really cute.
So wait, I want to talk about the meet cute moment on the bench when they actually meet in person for the first time, because when I saw that scene, I was like, this is not real. This is every girl's dream waiting for their rom-com moment to be manifested in real life. And she even leaves the voicemail to him saying, I have this fantasy where this guy is going to come meet me on the bench and blah, blah. I have a fantasy where I'm going to be walking down the street and my shoe's going to break and Matthew McConaughey is going to come and save me from a rolling dumpster.
But didn't it happen because he knew that it was her fantasy?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think the meet cute was accurate because it was manufactured.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%.
I think if he didn't know it, then yes, it would be different.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I think the meet cute moment for this one was definitely a little bit less all natural. But if I'm continuing to talk about the scene, at one point, Missy, I thought it was going to be a horror movie at how dark it got around the bench, and it just got very sci-fi-y, and I was like, what is going on?
I think I left you a voice note saying, if this wasn't a movie, if a random man came up to me on a bench while I'm eating a sandwich in the middle of the night at a park, I would freaking run. Or have 911 on speed dial, or have my brother on speed dial, save me, help me.
It got really dark when he was leaving, and then all the trees that were covering, I was like, this is getting kind of sci-fi. What is going on? But
also, no one looks like Nick Robinson. There's no Nick Robinson coming up to you on a bench. It's a creepy 50, 60-year-old man who's got a beer belly and is like, hey, I'm divorced. Talk to me about my life.
Yes. Yes. Although I do think that it was a cute idea to overlook the Golden Gate Bridge, and that was something else that I wanted to talk about was, how much I love settings, and this movie did such a good job at showing little nooks and crannies of San Fran, and was actually filmed in San Fran, and I think that it was filmed in San Fran, right?
The San Francisco scenes were filmed in San Fran, but majority of it was filmed in Vancouver.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
When they were doing the bus tour and they were talking about all the iconic San Francisco things, which I know the bus tour is something we need to talk about.
Right, I'm the bus tour guy. Just flailing out. Okay, yeah. No, yeah. Vancouver and San Fran, and I think it was perfect for this movie. I know that I've told you before, some settings or some cities, it doesn't seem relevant to the movie, but I think that this movie was perfectly done in San Fran.
And I think that's because she was from San Fran, Leah McKendrick.
Yes.
So it kind of was like her love letter to San Francisco, I feel like, in a way as well.
Yeah, Zoe actually just posted about on Instagram about how this movie was a love letter to a lot of things in many ways, and I think she said it was a love letter to San Fran in a little way.
Yeah, totally, for sure. I also need to talk about. Sorry.
Oh, and I was just gonna say, I can't imagine this movie filmed in New York or anywhere else. It would have just New York would have, I think, taken away so much from the storyline.
I agree, 1,000%. I think San Fran was perfect.
Yeah.
Especially considering she's talking about dating and going on all these different dates in the beginning, and like the tech bro hinge culture, like feel like it's super popular in that Silicon Valley area. And so is Silicon Valley even near San Francisco? And I just assumed that. That's
it's near San Fran. But because now we kind of have all of the major city hubs. We don't have a rom-com in Denver or Colorado, but Seattle, Sleepless in Seattle, and a lot of Seattle movies. And then we've got a bunch in New York. And then
Chicago.
Yeah, we have Chicago. I don't know about Atlanta, although a lot of I mean, saying, yeah, we don't have any in Atlanta. We need to get some in Atlanta. And then actually, maybe some have started to recently pop up for Atlanta storylines.
Life as We Know It was filmed in Atlanta.
Yes.
The one with Katherine Hagel. But I know a lot of movies are filmed in Atlanta. They're just not said. Like the setting isn't explicitly known as Atlanta.
Yes.
But I just want to go back because I know how much you love the setting. I know I said this in the beginning about the soundtrack. When Taylor Swift's Marjorie came on in the background after her sister passed away and she's leaving, I think it's the first voicemail, that was the most perfect song choice for that scene. I don't know,
wrote that song?
What?
I didn't even know she had that song out there.
Marjorie?
Yeah.
So, as a Swiftie, Taylor Swift wrote that song Marjorie. It's about her grandmother. And in the song, her grandma used to be an opera singer. And so she actually found her grandma's opera, vocal, tracks. And towards the end of the song, it's laced in with Taylor's voice. So they're singing it together. I just got chills talking about it. And on the tour, she would sing it every night. And the whole stadium would light up because it's like you could hear her grandma and her singing together. I still am getting chills. Oh my God. Because I remember the moment so well. And so that song for that moment when she's trying to talk to her sister, someone who's not with her anymore, it's the way that Taylor was still trying to talk and connect with her grandmother who's no longer here.
Aww.
So it just was such a perfect, and once again, Taylor just kills it.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So,
I'm built with this syndrome where I don't really have a favorite anything. I don't have a favorite movie. I don't have a favorite artist. I love all. I love all. So any Swiftie fact that you have for me, I always enjoy because I love seeing your passion about it. And we are passionate about rom-coms, which is why we're here today.
Speaking of rom-coms, sorry.
Okay, yeah, speaking of rom-coms.
Did you notice all the classic rom-com references in this movie?
Oh, 100%. I think they made it obvious on purpose, which I loved.
I mean, not even just rom-com. There was The Goonies, there was The Notebook, The Lion King. I mean, the big rom-com ones were Notting Hill, Bridget Jones' Diary, Hitch.
Which again, I think goes back to how realistic it is because a real life person who's not a celebrity or whatever would probably reference those moments. Maybe not as much.
I do that in my life every day with my brother. So yes, it felt very real to me.
Yeah, right. It feels real because that's what we do.
It also didn't feel forced. It was organic.
Yes. If you're a bird, I'm a bird. I totally got that. I just wanted to say that I had some quotes that I really wanted to share that I really loved. My favorite.
Bring it.
I think the girls at the beginning of the movie killed it when she talks about how, that quote about, everyone you wanted everyone to suck face or whatever. And then I think it was a really funny scene when she's talking about the date that she had with the guy who had pink eye. and the taxi cab driver is literally listening to the conversation of her saying she had butt particles on her face, and he was like rolling down the windows saying, "Oh my gosh, get this girl out of here." And
Yes.
then I thought that the when we talk about, you know, that podcast live event where she goes and gets her revenge, Nick had listened to the guy's podcast before going on and meeting her there, I think. And Nick literally said, "You shut your whore mouth when you're talking to me," even though he was just watching the guy on the podcast on his phone. And I thought that was really cute because I love loyalty. And then
I love that they called him a Hitch wannabe.
yes, just those moments were so cute. And then the Jose doesn't even love Jose's that much was, I think, really cute.
Yeah, no, I love that one. Some of my other favorite ones, since we're going down this road, is I'm boy sober,
Yes.
or you're a Timu Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
My ultimate favorite one, I want to know if you agree with this, when Jill said, "I suffer from severe case of TMI."
Yeah.
I think I sent you a voice message saying that is the slogan of my life, because I'm sure as our viewers can probably, or listeners can probably tell by now, I don't have a filter and I just doesn't register. And I'm constantly word vomiting of the mouth, and I don't care. I don't make apologies for it. I think it's awesome. And it's me. Like, you only live one life. You're only going to be able to say things once, and might as well say what you want. And so I really related to Jill and her outwardly awkwardness and quirkiness and just being like authentically herself. And I don't know, I just really enjoyed that. Some of the other lines that I really enjoyed was, as a Taylor Swift fan, obviously, when at the end Wes falls into the pool and then he's like, "Look what you made me do." And then he's like, "I'm sorry, the old Wes can't come to the phone right now because he's dead." I just loved the whole Taylor Swift of it.
Yeah, I thought you would like the whole Taylor Swift of it. And I think that again goes back to how it's a 2026 rom-com, and I'm so grateful that we got this little gem. And so many movies down there are so many movies down the pike that I think are going to be really good too. And I know we're nearing the end of our episode this week, but I think we have so many good movies that are coming down the pike that I'm really excited about. For instance, The Love Hypothesis. I know we're going off of tangent and we're going to get back to voicemails for Isabelle, but I think that we are entering I agree with what a lot of people are saying on social media about how we are entering a kind of rebirth of rom-coms.
I agree. It's like now it's like the new era of rom-coms that we're like back to the 2000s.
Yes.
Really quickly, not really quickly, but I just want to talk about this. What would Cupid say? Do you think these two are compatible and like really cute? Like, do you think they?
Yes.
Okay.
They're both so considerate, and I think when you have something as big as losing a sister or losing a mom happen to you, you just become such a big person where I can't imagine that either of them would have or would let small things get to them and their relationship.
But do you think they're only compatible, playing devil's advocate here, because he knew all of this about her before they met?
No, because in a way, I think it's fate. I think it's fate that he had the work phone. I don't care. I don't know. For me, I don't care as much that he found out because at least from the people who, like the audience, we got to observe how much he cared about her just listening to her voicemails. All those little scenes of him literally following the guy on the podcast just so that he could say to the screen, you know, "You shut your little mouth." All those little scenes, I think, showed how much he really cared about her. I think that the only thing that could potentially lead to something is if he's not really good about communicating, right? Because this whole movie and the whole blow up scene ended up because he couldn't communicate with her and just be frank and say, "This happened." But hopefully it's one of those things where you know, he will always know that she's going to be a person who wants him to just communicate with her from the beginning, and then they will end up happily ever after because I want them to.
I think when you talk about the iconic line where after she finds out and she says, "I don't need a man."
Yeah, but I need
I
you.
loved that. But I
need you.
Well, that was at the end after he ran to Beautiful Things in the Rain on New Year's Eve to her, which was just so creme de la creme.
And can I just say, when he ran, nothing. He had no fat on his face, no jiggle. If I ran in the rain, Missy,
I mean, my hair would be in my face, my boobs would be up in my face, like.
Yeah, I was like, how is this realistic? This is like Terminator.
The running was not realistic. He was wet, but like I would be drenched. Also, his cheeks were not red. Like clearly that run was just a casual stroll in the park for him. It wasn't an exercise. For me, it would have been a freaking exercise.
Yeah. Okay, I know we're really nearing the end, so yes. I kind of agree with you that we have to talk about the Cupid's Crew, or not the Cupid's Crew, but we have to talk about what you think if they would last together or not.
I think they would. I do think they would. And I think the reason why I do is because of that end scene when at the end he calls her, the sister, and was like, "I want a sign," or, you know, "I just want you to know I wish you were here. I wish I could meet you." And then he goes in and dances with her at the end. Like something he's so bad at and isn't confident about, but he does it for her and embraces her. I don't know. I feel like they are endgame. They are going to live the happily ever after.
Yes. Okay. I want to end with a question to our Cupid's Crew. How much did you love this movie? And what movies are you looking forward to that we've already heard a little teaser about that you think would help this resurgence of good rom-coms?
Ooh, good question. All right, friends, we will see you next week for another episode, but please let us know what you thought of Voicemails for Isabelle, and we'll see you next week. Bye, friends.